Two H's over the Northeast today. A hot one and a not bad one over the state of Maine. I like the one over the state of Maine. One's a 1016, one's a 1022. 1016 is weaker than 1022, so the 1022 is gonna win out. Yeah, my mom used to tie a string around me so I wouldn't run away too when I was little. Even though you're 8 years old now. 3, 2, 1, start your engines. We are out the door on a really pretty Monday. How many times have we said that? But this time followed a really nice, well, mostly nice weekend. Saturday was beautiful. We had to be patient yesterday, and we missed that big storm that hit New York so hard. That held together all the way into Pennsylvania yesterday, but we're done talking about that one. 80 degrees now, and it's past 8 o'clock. I got the regional roundup at about 8 o'clock, and Boston was already 82 with a dew point of 70. And that's a sticky, warm, feel of Florida kind of morning. And Bethel, Vermont was one of the cooler spots with a temperature of 67 and a dew point of 67. So dew points are in the 60s near 70. Rex is already needing to be untangled. So it's not too hot. There we go. All right, Rex, now we're free. In the Boston area, because of that 16 high pressure system in Canada, our air is coming just ever so lightly from the north and the northeast. That keeps us a little cooler. You can see the boats kind of pointed toward the north there. And we've got the construction crews. They're working through the extreme heat warning, which really doesn't apply to the extreme coast today, but inland, we are going for 95 to 100 degrees today. Oh, look, the flag is back. More on that in a little while. And so we'll go to, I'm not going to use the Boston meteogram because it's so close to the ocean. I'm going to use one that's more representative, and we'll do the same thing we did yesterday. Waltham, Massachusetts. After a look at Steve here. Waltham, Massachusetts, just, I don't know, maybe about 20 miles in that direction. And it shows the temperature today about 94, 95. And the record for today is about 96 from 1888. Wow, that's an old record. And then tomorrow we're near 100. The record for tomorrow is only 95 from 2013. So record challenging heat today, record breaking heat. Tomorrow is the peak of the heat. And then on Wednesday, we're gonna have another little front coming down, and it looks like it tries to come through without a bunch of thunderstorms, but we'll see because it's such a hot air mass. The dew point's still near 70 on Wednesday, and then the showers and thunderstorms are here Wednesday afternoon. And Thursday and Friday, the Euro is the most pessimistic, keeping not only the temperature down, but also the sun away here, which I guess not that bad if you're working outdoors, right? And the weekend, it doesn't look cold and wet, but it doesn't look warm and dry either. The weekend, a front is going to be stalling over New England with showers and thunderstorms, and then they'll probably be here into early next week. But then next week is July 4th, and the pattern says that it'll turn beautiful. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right by July 4th. But there's so much to work on before we get there. I showed you the surface map from this morning. Here's the weather prediction surface forecast for this evening, and this little weak high pressure system is going to be moving out of Maine, and you see a warm front kind of decaying right over eastern New England, low pressure moving up into Canada, and that low is going to increase our wind from the west and southwest for tomorrow, and that's where we get our warmest, hottest weather, and that's when you're going to have the extreme heat warning actually really kick in. I mean, it's been in effect now since yesterday, and truthfully, I don't know, it's not really that extreme. I think this is what people in Florida deal with for months and months upon months. T-Rex is just chilling right there, huh? So yeah, but it is record challenging, and there's also acclimatation, right? Are you acclimatized to the heat? No, we're not really in the Northeast, where in the Southwest, it's average high temperature of about 100 degrees, but it's dry heat, right? So we get some smog in the air, and people have been asking about the fires in Canada. Is it going to rain on the fires in Canada? I got to talk louder as I push into this plane, which is, I watch how the planes land at Logan Airport because they land into the wind, and the fact that they're landing toward the east-northeast, even though it's very subtle, that's where the air is coming from, and you can see the smog. Smog is sort of fog and smoke and haze all combined, and that brings up the question about the fires in Canada. Are they getting rained on? Well, let me start with a source for the rain in Canada. Yes, they are getting rained on. and it's from a storm that's bringing snow to Montana. Yesterday, the snow stake there on the snow cam at Whitefish in Montana showed about 8 inches. It's cleared off every day at 4. I think it melted off yesterday. And it shows another 2 today, so about 10 inches of snow in the last 48 hours at Whitefish in Montana. Now, you'd think maybe, oh, that's a huge mountain. Well, the elevation at the summit is 6,800 feet. So no, it's not one of the tallest mountains, but the fact that it's snowing at 6,800 feet the 4th week of June, very impressive. Break for cormorant. So that storm is going to bring rain to the fires in Canada. Here's the satellite image. The system that went through here broke into pieces yesterday and sent one piece into Canada, and the other piece went to the middle Atlantic states and just fell apart. And now we're kind of getting the backside of that old low. It's now in Newfoundland, and that's the reason for the high pressure in Canada. And then there's another stronger storm there over central Canada, and we're in the gap in between. But that storm over central Canada, that's the one that brought the snow to Montana. That is raining on the fires. Here's the fire map, and you can see fires are burning throughout Canada and also in the United States, and including the Southwest, California. And smoke from the California fires may be entering our sky more than the smoke from Canada, because our air is coming from Mexico. Fires also burning in Mexico. And so there's the smoke plume forecast for today. You can see Canada is less smoky than the desert southwest of the United States. So let's just go to the Euro rainfall forecast for 2 weeks, for the next 2 weeks. And the system's crossing from the Pacific across Canada, and also in the eastern United States. These fronts are tapping the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of whatever. And we have off and on rain and thunderstorms, summer storms, really widespread and fairly heavy. Anytime you see the red on there, now we're talking about 2 inches of rain. Then you see the yellows and golds. This is 4 inches of QPF, quantitative precipitation forecast, for a lot of rain throughout, including the area that's experiencing the heat wave right now. So there it goes out. This is a 15-day product, by the way. So that's 2 weeks. Over the next 2 weeks, maybe our lawns will not burn out, but it's going to be a challenge, especially if you got a lawn that looks like this one, a result of that excavation last winter. So that part not doing well at all, but I'm trying to save certain parts. And this matting, if you've been following along, is a huge problem. How hot is it? It's so hot. These weeds can't handle it. The weeds. This is how maybe some people are going to feel working outdoors over the next couple of days. But we will weather this. I was looking at the records this morning at the Blue Hill Observatory, and the record high temperature for today, 93, also from 1888. 137-year-old record's going to be challenged. But then I saw the wind gust record for today is 63 miles an hour from Hurricane Agnes in 1972. If you want to go down a rabbit hole studying hurricanes, look that one up on Wikipedia. It formed over the Yucatan Peninsula on June 12th, the third week of June, and it didn't dissipate until going through many different incarnations, including post-tropical storm here in the Northeast, and survived all the way to the islands of Great Britain by July 6th. So it's on the map for nearly 3.5, 4 weeks. What a storm that was. You know, Mother Nature, what is weather? Takes energy, hot weather from the equator, and pushes it to the pole, takes the cooler weather from the pole, pulls it to the equator. Differential heating of the Earth's surface is the reason we have weather. And the differential heating today means it's going to be hotter over the land than it is over the ocean. That's going to cause the air to come in from the east, but that only happens when you have very weak synoptic features. And let's go to the synoptic features. This is the Euro, the L's and the H's and the fronts, and the big picture map. Yesterday it was a mesoscale system that got into New York, but these ones are called synoptic scale. They're of greater scale. They're easier to predict than mesoscale. And there's the low to our north. There's our 582 thickness over New England. There's our temperature near 100 degrees tomorrow. You can't really see it. And then the isobars do tighten up a little bit. And there's a bit of a kink in the isobars here tomorrow night and Wednesday. So we're going to start cooling it off again especially in Maine and eastern Massachusetts by late Wednesday afternoon. Now the front's going to be pushing south. That's a strong high pressure system coming into Ontario, and it's in no hurry to move by. In fact, it's trying to strengthen. So the battle between the hot and the cold is going to be gradually pushing from north to south through New England. And there's Wednesday, you get some thunderstorms coming at us. Thursday, now most of New England is getting air from the north and east. There's a weak low, what is it, about a 10-17 over Long Island, but it's such a hot air mass, elevated convective clouds. That means thunderstorms, non-severe thunderstorms, but drenching rains are possible here, especially in central and southern New England. Thursday into Friday, that high is still there, gets into the Gulf of Maine now, Friday into Saturday, and here's another weekend. Here's the warm front trying to come back, and there are more showers and thunderstorms, looking most prevalent on Saturday. Now we're getting into Sunday is the June 29, Monday, June 30, Tuesday, July 1st, and it looks like a nice press of air from Canada all the way down to the mid-Atlantic states. Now this takes us out to July 2nd, which is a Wednesday, and that looks nice. Nice strong high pressure system over the Great Lakes. The heat has been pushed all the way back into Florida, and there's nice refreshing air from central Canada all the way to about probably Virginia. And that would set the stage for a really nice few days if this works out, heading into July 3rd. That's the big fireworks in Weymouth, and July 4th, Friday. And the outlook for Friday, July 4th, I'll give it to you already, is for sun and temperatures in the 80s and a dew point in the 50s. Let's see if we can hold that together. There's your first July 4th forecast. Is that right? All right, so the animals know. Steve has moved over to the shade, and Rex is now moving over to the shade. So that's it for the weather for today. A lot of great questions. How to pronounce D-E-R-E-C-H-O. Derecho. How was that? I'm getting in trouble. All right, that's the weather and more. Is me getting that flag. You know, the flag was not damaged. I was really shocked. It was those little E's and W's and N's and H's that decayed below the crow. The crow is intact, but those wires kind of got the flag. But the flag is okay. There is TK on a ladder, Kate. Yep, on a ladder. I climb ladders. Been climbing ladders for a long time, and I don't intend on stopping anytime soon. Life is dangerous. Don't climb on ladders. Don't get in a car and go 75 miles an hour next to a whole bunch of cars and semi-trucks. That's where the real danger is. I would rather be surfing off Cape Cod near the Great Whites than continuing to travel on I-95 at 75, and I'm the slow person on the highway. Yeah. TK-isms. All right, life is scary. Let's try and get through this heat and think about those people in Montana dealing with the snow. And more from yesterday. And more from Sunday morning. We haven't even started editing for today, and we've already got tomorrow, which is now today. Anna out there putting some squash in Bert's Memorial Garden. She says she talks to Bert quite a bit while she's out there. That's what gardening can do for you. It's a zen thing. Thank you very much, Anna. T-Rex is coming over for some more chicken. They're not in a hurry. Sunday is working out. It's not even, 9 o'clock maybe? And the last vestiges of this mesoscale convective system coming across Cape Cod. I think the rest of those heavier elements are going to dissipate. So we're getting just a few raindrops on Cape Cod, but they're fat raindrops. And the sun should be out by lunchtime or so. But the fact that it's starting off so gray this morning hopefully keeps the heat at bay a little bit, at least for today. We'll see. Here we go. It's just about noontime, and there's the blue sky. Way less windy than I thought, and it's still comfortable. Waiting on the wind and the heat. Even in Boston, it's just up to about 80, but I think it's all going to happen at once here with the heat and the wind, and not even enough to dampen the ground with those few raindrops this morning. There's the fragrant, there's a bunny rabbit under there. Fragrant privet. Rex cannot catch rabbits. He's just incapable. Get away, huh? Shocking. Now, if it was Steve, that'd be a different story. That's why we have Steve on a leash. And Rex, this way. Come on. Anna was out here first thing in the morning and put in some squash, watered it, and potatoes. We got all kinds of strawberries. Can't believe the rabbits haven't eaten these. They're tiny. Why don't the rabbits eat these tiny strawberries? Focus. Daylilies, hosta. Did you hear that, Rex? What was that? It's a crow making a noise up there. We break for birds. We also are not in a hurry on this Sunday to get off Cape Cod because there's about a 10-mile backup already at noontime. Maybe everyone leaves and then we enjoy a sunny afternoon and we take off. T-Rex, what do you think? Fairly uneventful and more today. It's up to 84. Looks really nice outside. Definitely less windy. Nicer day than I thought. 76 indoors. Not very interesting. Washing windows and putting in air conditioners and such. Catching up. Fun day yesterday. Now I get to go sit in the traffic, T-Rex. We get to go sit in the traffic to get over to Bridging off Cape Cod with thousands of others. I think we take the scenic route, 6A. It's pretty. Got 80 on the dashboard thermometer and about a 7 or 8 mile backup to Sagamore. How was it your way, Rex? Good. Definitely scenic. There's an osprey family right up there, T-Rex. Sandy Neck is out that way. So Route 28 is sort of the business zone. Lots of miniature golf and hotels and restaurants. And then 6A, you got more like turtle crossing. That's what that sign said. And old sea captain's house and a few restaurants and artsy stuff. Bridge Creek. And really pretty gardens too. For now, nobody else, but we're gonna run into the traffic here too. Talk about pleasant surprise. I can't believe this. Not too many people took 6A. All right, T-Rex, we're in pretty good shape. Relatively speaking, but it still keeps backing up, especially once you get to Norwell. Didn't even make it to Norwell. This is Pembroke. Okay. Time to get off the road again. Back roads. Dashboard thermometer went from 75 in Bourne to 91. Now we are in Norwell. Sunset in Weymouth, T-Rex. Heat wave day number 1. Yeah. Not in a hurry Sunday. Hope no one's in a hurry. Get the turkeys, the big turkeys, T-Rex. Just about home. Still 90 on the dashboard thermometer, but it runs a little warm. Got some smog, some people on the beach. Back to the Weymouth Big Dig. Grass is still green. Give it a couple more days. 7:30. Steve hasn't been out in a while. He's happy to have some TK company opening the door for him. All right. Back to the Gulf of Weymouth. That thermometer says 82. Not bad. Logan Airport got to 93. We already discussed that. Doesn't smell bad, but kind of dirty air. And it's not that uncomfortable either. The dew point did get to 70. Temperature gets to 93. So I think that put the heat index up to 95 plus. And we did measure a little bit of rain last night, 0.02 with a little seed or weed in there. With the kids going off the end of the groin, which is really slippery, except for the fact it's high tide, so it's not really that slippery right there. But 'tis the season. All right. I guess I gotta work on my flag. Yeah, needs work. Will repair, maybe this evening. I think I can do it. And there's Steve grazing in my little backyard junkyard. And some time lapse of a day that started gray and almost chilly, turned sunny and hot. Day 1 of likely a 4-day heat wave. Maybe a little cooler in Boston tomorrow, which is now today, with an onshore flow, but heat peaks on Tuesday. It's always a tough call on when it really actually is going to end. New England is a fairly big region. Sailboat. Doug, did you launch Jetstream? Okay, and the Weymouth time lapse with that regrettably tangled flag, which hopefully is fixed already. More and more and more. Thanks for watching. Talk to you tomorrow.